Hello and welcome back to the 411, everyone. Thank you for tuning in today. As you know, the 411 is a segment of the channel which we cover today's video games, this generation, and of course the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and whatever the next Nintendo console is going to end up being, in a quick review format. So, without further ado, I bring to you Injustice 2, the Legendary Edition. Before getting started, if you have not checked out Injustice Gods Among Us, the predecessor to this video game right here, go ahead and check it out in the retro review section of this channel. Let's go ahead and talk about the game a little bit, because you know, we gotta always go ahead and start it off that way. So, just like the predecessor, yes, this is made by NetherRealm, the studio that was commissioned by Warner Brothers to take over the Mortal Kombat franchise and resurrect it from the dead. And of course, bringing us this fantastic series, Injustice. One of the best things about the Injustice series is being able to beat the living crap out of your opponent, similar to Mortal Kombat. Surprise, surprise. But you get to do this in a game that is centered in the DC universe. Did I mention there's a story mode? Yes, there is a story mode. That aside, Injustice 2 plays very similarly in core gameplay to the predecessor, Injustice Gods Among Us, though, in this reviewer's very humble opinion, is significantly improved, meaning fighting is more fun. Legendary Multiverse. So in order to explain Legendary Multiverse, let's go ahead and go into the multiverse. So, the multiverse is similar to the Star Labs in the previous game, in which you go and you fight through different simulations to acquire ranks. Is a good way to level up your characters as well, and little achievements. Once you go ahead and complete the multiverse simulation, you can then go ahead and get into the legendary multiverse and truly test your skill. Alright, so from those two, you got single fight. Single fight is exactly what it sounds like. You pick your character, you pick the computer character, you fight it out and see who's better. And then finally, you have place story. Place story here, you have continue, which is highlighted, so you don't have to go back and start a new game. You can kind of continue off of the game and it recycles itself. And then you have new game, and then you have chapters that you've played through in a similar fashion as before. Now, as mentioned with the ability to play on story, story selects the characters that you're going to be playing as, so you don't have really any say, with the exception of if there's two characters that come onto the scene, you can try your hand at both of them. Sometimes one is better than the other in using, so it is a nice additional feature to the game. Backing out of story mode, let's go ahead and jump into single fight, where we'll talk about the BAM! Character roster. Look how many more people we have to play with. This is so much better. Alright, so as always, and as with any sort of DC multiversal game, you have Batman and you have Superman. But oh, what's this? Red Hood, which is actually, you know, a great character to play as. Okay, so I mentioned in my previous video, Harley Quinn, in my opinion, is better to play as in this game. In fact, I will play as her when I go and jump into the single fight, just to demonstrate how much better it is to play as her in this game. So from Harley Quinn, we have good old Green Lantern, and then there's a Flash. Flash is a great character to play as if you like speed, but Flash is a little bit weaker, so you need to be able to continuously make those combos, otherwise you're going to end up just making a fool out of yourself. From Flash, we have Catwoman. Catwoman is another great character to play as. For whatever reason, the female characters are a lot better to play as than most of the male characters. And I think that has something to do with the fact that quite a few of the male characters, particularly in the previous game, had stat boosts, which their attacks did more damage, but when it came to doing combos or evading, it was not as easy to do. And this game has actually resolved most of those things. One of my biggest complaints from the previous one was Superman. Superman is actually a heck of a lot better playing as in this game. Moving from Catwoman, we have Cyborg. Cyborg is actually a very good balanced character of power, range, and speed. And then next there is Swamp Thing. And then we have our cameo, Sub-Zero. Hello, Sub-Zero. Welcome to the DC Universe. And then from there, there's Hellboy. I don't particularly enjoy playing as Hellboy. He's not that great to play with, in my opinion, of course. Somebody else may see differently. From there, we have Enchantress. Enchantress is good to play as. Black Manta is actually pretty good to play as well. Good speed character. Then we have Power Girl, aka Supergirl. And then there's Green Arrow. Green Arrow is actually one of the better male characters to play as in this game. He's incredibly fast, and his combos are just right on the dot. From there, you have Dr. Fate. Dr. Fate is pretty decent to play as. From Dr. Fate, Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle is actually a good balanced character as well. And then from Blue Beetle, Firestorm. Hey, look at that. We have some of the people from the extended universe coming in. Firestorm is a good character to play as for balance as well. Aquaman is actually a very well balanced character in this game also. Though there are some characters you go against which Aquaman would just kind of be not a great choice. Black Canary is okay. Not one of my favorite characters to play as. Probably one of the few female characters that I actually don't enjoy playing as. And I say that in the realms of my fighting style that I enjoy in playing is either balanced or speed. I don't particularly enjoy or do too well with power characters, which is one of the reasons why I have a little bit of a higher ratio of loss to win, because most of the characters you play as in the story have a bit of a power amplifier. That's one thing I will say about this guy, Batman. Something I did not enjoy is they made him more power than balance in this game. It works out. You can still string together some combos, but it's just not as not to the liking in which I had for the first game. So from Black Canary, we have Darkseid. Darkseid is actually a good balanced character to play as well. Wonder Woman is a little bit above balance. She has more strength than she does speed, but it's still in there. So if you time it correctly, you can go and build from combos. Now we have Superman. I introduced earlier, didn't talk about. So Superman has definitely been revamped. Superman has way more combo ability, and by combo ability I mean, yes, he still has super strong attacks, but you can string things together a lot easier than previously. From Superman, let's go over to the one that started it all, the Joker. Now this Joker kind of looks like the Jared Leto take on the Joker, which may or may not appeal to some people. I don't know. Either way, the Joker is still really good to play as, just like in the first game. From there, we have Black Adam. Black Adam plays a lot like Shazam, so you can, you know, just go ahead and interswap the two, essentially. Has more balance, definitely has a good amount of power as well. From there, we have Captain Cold. Not really one of my favorite characters to play as. He's okay though. You can go ahead and do a little bit of work with this guy. From Captain Cold, we have Atrocitus, the Red Lantern. So, very powerful not very balanced. Though when you fight against the computer, it seems like that changes. From Atrocitus, we have Gorilla Grodd, who's actually a decently balanced character despite his enormous size. From Gorilla Grodd, there is Robin. So, Hooded Robin right here. You have the option with all these characters to change through different types of costumes, but this is the one that you get initially, starting with Hooded Robin, the one who has a vendetta against Batman and all those lovely, lovely, fun things. From Robin, there's Scarecrow. Scarecrow is actually really, really good to play as, in my opinion, of course. He's super fast. He has a decent amount of strength to back up his speed as well, and he can be a challenging opponent. From there's Cheetah, and then there's Deadshot, and then there's Bane. Bane is significantly smaller in this game. He is more balanced out. However, he's still a roided out freak. Or just roided out person of unfortunate events that befell upon him. However you choose to look at Bane's story. And then from there is Brainiac. Brainiac is a toughie. He's a tough one to fight against and can be tough to master, but he definitely has a lot of power, and if you can string those combos together, I mean, you can whoop Superman's butt. Then there's Poison Ivy. Poison Ivy is pretty decent to play as. However, hello Starfire, and welcome to the universe. Starfire is one of the better female characters to play as in the game. She has a healthy balance and she is strong. What more could you want? And another cameo, Black Lightning. However, here's the rating costume. So yeah, you can see the different costumes as it cycles through. Some of these characters actually will have a Mortal Kombat costume to go along with their character power. In this instance, Black Lightning can be traded out for Raiden, and Shazam, or excuse me, back here, Black Adam can be traded out for Shazam. Alright, now, moving on, we have another cameo, and that would be Leonardo. Now, Leonardo can be traded out with any one of his brothers, Donatello, Michelangelo, Raphael, and such. They're actually kind of decent to play as, but not really my favored fighter in the game. And then finally, on our character roster, we have Adam. Adam is a good balanced male character, but not really one of my favored characters in the universe or in the game. So, with all that said, let's go and transition back to Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn.
Okay, and we are going to put Harley Quinn against the Scarecrow.
Scarecrow.
And we'll do medium, give us a little bit of easement through the battle and a little bit of a challenge. Oof. Would you look at that? So from here, let's pick the Joker's Playground.
The Joker's Playground.
As with before, there's an introduction.
I don't fear you.
I'll mash your potato-y head.
Begin.
So not really fond of her voice, but again, she plays really well in the game. Okay, so before we go ahead and start that, let's do what we always do. Flip right into the move list, the options menu, and check out what we can do with this fine fighter. So right over there, you'll see these are the standard combos that you can string together. And then gear loadouts, of course, you can look at what you and your opponent have in order to help you along in this. You have your presets. The preset controller configuration, you can go through different presets, but this just goes ahead and shows you essentially what you do at the basic level. Light, medium, heavy attack, character power, just like before. your throwing, meteor burn, interactions with objects, and your flip stance, which allows you to flip your stance. Then from there, you can restart the match. If you don't like the way that it's going, you can go back to your player selection or all the way back to the main menu. But we are going to go ahead and start this fight.
Begin.
Boring.
So there you go. Not the greatest performance of overall performances ever done, but that just goes to demonstrate how good Harley Quinn is when you're able to string things together, and then how detrimental it is for you to actually go and work on those controls and get them together. Because if you're like me and you've not put a whole lot of practice behind it and just kind of rush through things and just charge a little bit in this particular game, then that's not a very good strategy. The better strategy would be doing what I did there toward the end and actually stringing combos together using those buttons and controls that they go and give you, and actually, like, you know, beating the crap out of someone like Scarecrow, who is also equally fast and has a very, very good arsenal of attacks to back himself up. From there, you know there's only one thing left to do with this game, and that's talk about the video and the sound. So whether you have headphones on, whether you have surround sound, or if you choose for whatever reason to just play it through your TV, I understand. We can't all afford surround sound or headphones or anything like that. But the sound quality is great, honestly. It really helps immerse you into the game, and so I give that 2 thumbs up, of course. And then let's look at the visuals. The visuals are really good. I mean, it's not like photorealistic visuals, but I wouldn't expect something like that to be, especially where there's a handful of live action games and they've usually always been played by different people through each one of the live action movies. I said games, correction. But yeah, I mean, it's very good 3D rendering of these characters, and the gameplay flows phenomenally. I noticed absolutely no lagging between sound, video, moves, or anything of that sort. The only thing that can get on my nerves sometimes is the microtransactions and the load screens here and there. Sometimes it'll take a little bit longer to load, but overall the general performance of the game is very, very, very good. They took some of the things that didn't work and improved them for this games, and they kept the things that did work and brought it back into the game. So for that, 2 thumbs up. Again, thank you so much for joining me today on this review. Thank you so much for watching it. And as always, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, heck, even advice, go ahead and drop it in the comments down below, or direct message me, leave one on my channel. It doesn't matter how you want to choose to go ahead and communicate those things. Just go ahead and do it. Now, if you want to be alerted to any new videos, go ahead and hit the notifications bell. And if you enjoyed today's video, go ahead and hit subscribe so that in both instances you are aware of new videos being dropped. Thank you again, everyone, and have a fantastic day.